be ready to go by December 2020?
The majority of what is required for this facilitated customs arrangement will definitely, as we've indicated, be in place by December 2020. There is a question as to the speed with which the repayment mechanism would be in place. And there's been, so far, the suggestion is that that could take longer to be put into place. That is yet to be finally determined, the date at which that will be possible to have in place.
So its implementation will be much quicker than the previous two proposals of the MaxFAC and the Customs Partnership, because they were going to take longer than 2020.
It would be in, yes, the majority of it would be in place by December 2020.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We now come to questions from the International Trade Committee and Angus MacNeil.
Thank you very much, Chair. You're a survivor, Prime Minister. I often think of Gloria Gaynor when I look at you. You're doing well. The can kicking down the road has been a successful policy, really, and the government goes on, much against what many pundits probably thought. Following up on the Irish border issue, the Irish Independent today has a story saying a hard border inevitable and the showdown with the World Trade Organization. Is there a hard border inevitable in Ireland? And of course, its implications for everywhere else.
No, what we have set out in the Chequers Agreement and detailed in more detail in the White Paper is a proposal for a facilitated customs agreement and the regulatory arrangements that would ensure that we did not have a hard border between Northern Ireland and Ireland. This is one of the factors that we've been considering throughout this process. We have been over the last 2 years. As you know, we waited to trigger Article 50 to do some preparatory work for that. We've then been working on all of these elements in what is a complex set of negotiations.
Okay.
And we've put forward a proposal that would deliver no hard border in Northern Ireland.
Of course, the hard border that's much talked about in Ireland is merely the EU-UK border on the island of Ireland. This is going to apply to every other border that the UK will share with the European Union. What's going to be happening at Dover? What's going to be happening everywhere else?
Well, the proposal that we have put forward, we've always said that actually...
This morning we heard the Dutch are hiring 1,000 more customs officers. They're expecting difficulty by the look of it, or at least preparing for difficulty. Are you?
Well, everybody is, and we are hiring more border officers because we're preparing for all contingencies. But the proposals that we have put forward in the Chequers Agreement, as detailed in the White Paper, set out a plan for the future relationship on customs and certain areas of regulation with the European for trade with the European Union, which would enable us not only to have a frictionless border between Northern Ireland and Ireland, but also to have a frictionless border between the UK and other member states of the European Union. Okay. And if I may just make this point, of course, from the point of view of the Irish economy, that east-west trade between Ireland and Great Britain is, of course, a more significant element of their economy than the trade between Northern Ireland and Ireland.
The Irish say that, but of course these are borders UK to EU. So is your situation, you're out of the customs union, you're out of the single market, and you don't have borders? Is that basically what you're telling us?
Well, if you looked at the White Paper and the agreement that we came to in Chequers, you will see that the proposal we're putting forward is that we're no longer a member of the customs union, we're no longer a member of the single market. We have put forward a proposal for the common rule book in a specific area of industrial goods and agri-food, and the customs arrangement that can go alongside that, those which would deliver frictionless borders.
Where else in the world does this exist?
Well, it doesn't. It's a novel idea. It is
Absolutely,
a novel idea.
Very novel
but
idea.
I would sincerely hope that you wouldn't suggest to me that the only approach that the United Kingdom government can take to this is simply to say what else exists and what can we take out of that, rather than saying, actually, what is the arrangement that we think is going to be best for the UK? Let's put that forward. And let's argue for that in those negotiations.
That might be the argument you have on one hand, others might say pie in the sky in the other hand, and we'll have to wait and see which one it is. You triggered Article 50 to leave in March 2019. You then went in Florence to ask for 24 months. The EU gave you another 21 months. Do you have enough time for your novel ideas to get yourself out of the European Union, Prime Minister?
Yes, we're all working, both sides in this negotiation are working to the same timetable. We will be leaving the EU on the 29th of March 2019, as you've indicated in your question. The implementation period, which is a period which enables businesses and government to prepare for the future relationship, will end in December 2020. We're still working to the timetable of ensuring that we have the withdrawal agreement and the sufficient detail of the future relationship agreed by October, such that that can then become before Parliament. I've always said that I think when this Parliament, and indeed I think the same will be true of the European Parliament, although their job will be a slightly different one, when this Parliament is asked to put withdrawal agreement and implementation bill legislation through the House, they will want to know what the arrangements are for the future relationship, and that's what we're working to.
So you think of enough time. Okay, and is American USA UK trade deals still on the cards, do you think? Yes or no? Because we're hearing
Yes.
Yes, okay. That's worth about 0.2% of GDP. What is your government's estimate of the loss to GDP from your exiting the EU option?
Well,
it's 5%, isn't it?
Very often, people look at this equation as if one substitutes for the other.
I just asked you for the estimated figure.
No. What
I think
I'm
it's
looking
important
to
that we
ensure,
get the figures, because you agreed the first figure, 0.2, very quickly. I'm looking for you to agree the 5%.
You stated the first figure of 0.2.
Well, you didn't demur from it.
What I'm looking at is ensuring that we can both maintain a good trading relationship with the European Union and also build on that with new trading, improved trading relationships around the rest of the world. Now, obviously, one of the initial things that we'll be doing is we'll be looking at continuity of those agreements which the European Union already has with certain parts of the world, where we're a member of those, so there is no cliff edge for the businesses involved in those, and then look to improve on those agreements.
5% damage is what your government estimates, which is about 2.5 times the cost of the crash of 2008. To replicate that with the American-style agreement, you're going to need about 25 to 30 of those type agreements to make up the difference. It really is, having bought the Rolls-Royce, having crashed the Rolls-Royce, you're now going down the second-hand car shop to look for the best possible second-hand car for the United Kingdom. It's not going to make up for the damage you've chosen with your government to go for a quite hard Brexit, for the economic damage you're doing, is it?
First of all, what we are doing is delivering on a vote that was taken by the British people. Parliament voted 6-1 to give the British people a choice as to well, that's fine, but I'm sorry, because the alternative to what you're suggesting is actually staying in the European Union.
So you accept economic damage
No, I'm not accepting that. You are you're talking about the position we're in terms of the negotiations for leaving the European Union. The reason we're doing that is because we asked people what they wanted to do. They have said they want us to leave the EU, and that is what the government will deliver. In delivering on it, we're delivering on what people voted for, like an end to free movement, but we're also ensuring that we do it in a way that protects jobs. That's what the Chequers Agreement delivers. That's what the White Paper delivers.
We'll have a referendum in Scotland to discuss that.